What if I told you that your muscles could be disappearing right now, even while you're sitting comfortably watching this video? And the most frightening part, many adults over 60 don't notice it until it's too late. Every single year after the age of 60, your body can lose a significant amount of muscle if you don't actively support it. That loss doesn't just make you weaker, it can steal your independence, increase your risk of dangerous falls, make climbing stairs exhausting, and even shorten your lifespan. Here's something that shocked even many of my patients. A recent study involving more than 2,000 older adults found that nearly 7 out of 10 seniors showed measurable muscle loss without realizing it. Many believed they were simply getting older, when in reality, their muscles were starving for the nutrients needed to stay strong. And here's the truly alarming part. By the time you begin noticing weakness in your legs, difficulty standing from a chair, or trouble carrying groceries, you've often already lost a considerable amount of muscle. But today, there's good news. Research continues to point toward one affordable, everyday food that may help support muscle protein production, improve strength, and slow age-related muscle decline. When combined with proper nutrition and regular activity, some of my patients began noticing improvements in strength, energy, and confidence within just 2 weeks of consistently including this food as part of a balanced diet. If you're over 60 or you care about someone who is, stay with me until the end, because this one simple change could help you protect the muscles that protect your life. My name is Dr. John Paul, clinical nutritionist and longevity expert. For over 20 years, I've worked with older adults who believed muscle loss was simply an unavoidable part of aging. But after helping thousands of patients improve their nutrition, strength, and mobility, I've learned something incredibly important. Growing older does not automatically mean growing weaker. In my clinic, more than 90% of patients who followed personalized nutrition plans alongside strength-building habits experienced noticeable improvements in mobility, balance, and daily function within a few months. One patient I'll never forget was Bethel, a 71-year-old retired accountant. When she first came to see me, she couldn't stand up from her favorite chair without pushing herself up with both hands. Walking around the grocery store left her exhausted. She assumed this was simply life after 70. But after making one important dietary change, which I'll reveal shortly, along with a simple routine, she told me something incredible. "Dr. Paul," she said, "I feel like my legs belong to me again. That's why I'm making today's video. Because far too many seniors accept weakness as normal. It isn't. Your muscles are constantly listening to what you feed them, and today's featured food gives them exactly what they've been asking for." Before I reveal the #1 food, you first need to understand why muscle loss happens after 60. Think of your muscles as a savings account. When you're young, every meal rich in quality protein acts like a deposit. Your body easily builds new muscle. It repairs damaged muscle fibers. It keeps you strong. But after age 60, something changes. Scientists call it anabolic resistance. Simply put, your muscles become less responsive to protein than they once were. Imagine trying to water a garden with a hose that has become partially blocked. Even though the water is flowing, much less reaches the plants. The same thing happens inside your muscles. Even if you're eating enough food overall, your muscles may not receive the signals they need to grow and repair efficiently. At the same time, your body begins producing fewer hormones involved in muscle maintenance. Physical activity often decreases. Inflammation becomes more common. Recovery slows, and muscle tissue gradually gets replaced with fat. This condition is known as sarcopenia. Sarcopenia doesn't happen overnight. It develops quietly. First, you notice carrying heavy bags feels harder. Then climbing stairs leaves your legs burning. Then getting out of a low chair becomes difficult. Eventually, a simple stumble that once would have meant nothing can become a devastating fall. One large observational study found that seniors with significant muscle loss faced substantially higher risks of disability and loss of independence than those who maintain stronger muscle mass throughout later life. The encouraging news? Your muscles never completely lose their ability to respond. Even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond, the right nutrition can still activate muscle-building pathways. But before I reveal the single food that has become one of my favorite recommendations, you need to avoid 3 common mistakes that quietly accelerate muscle loss every single day. Because if you're making even one of these mistakes, that healthy food may never reach its full potential. Let's begin with the first mistake I see almost every day in my clinic. And unfortunately, it's one that millions of older adults believe is actually healthy. Mistake 1. Eating too little protein. Many seniors tell me, "Doctor, I don't eat much anymore. I just have some toast for breakfast, a bowl of soup for lunch, maybe a little rice for dinner." At first, this may sound harmless, but to your muscles, it's like trying to build a house without bricks. Protein is the raw material your body uses to repair damaged muscle fibers and create new muscle tissue. After age 60, your muscles become less efficient at using protein because of anabolic resistance. That means they often need more high-quality protein per meal than they did decades earlier to trigger muscle protein synthesis. A recent study involving nearly 2,300 adults over the age of 65 found that seniors consuming adequate daily protein maintained significantly better muscle strength and physical function than those eating low-protein diets. Here's the danger. When your muscles don't receive enough protein, your body doesn't simply wait. Instead, it begins breaking down existing muscle tissue to obtain the amino acids it needs. In other words, your own muscles become the body's emergency protein supply. I remember a patient named Michael, a 71-year-old grandfather. Michael believed he was eating responsibly. Breakfast was tea and toast. Lunch was crackers and cheese. Dinner was a small serving of vegetables with very little protein. Within a year, he had lost noticeable strength. He struggled carrying his grandchildren. Even climbing 6 stairs became exhausting. Once we gradually increased his protein intake throughout the day, combined with gentle resistance exercises, he reported feeling steadier and stronger within weeks. His energy improved. His confidence returned. And perhaps most importantly, he stopped fearing every staircase. Mistake 2. Believing all proteins are equal. Here's another trap. Many advertisements suggest that any protein source provides the same benefits. Unfortunately, that simply isn't true for aging muscles. As we grow older, the quality of protein matters just as much as the quantity. Some foods contain lower amounts of the essential amino acid leucine, which acts like the ignition key for muscle building. Without enough leucine, your muscles receive only a weak signal to repair themselves. Researchers studying more than 1,800 seniors found that diets richer in complete, high-quality protein were consistently associated with better muscle preservation, stronger grip strength, and improved mobility compared with diets relying mostly on lower-quality protein sources. One patient who taught me this lesson was Linda, age 69. She proudly told me she had eliminated nearly all animal protein because she assumed vegetables alone would fully protect her muscles. While vegetables are incredibly healthy, her overall protein quality had become too low. She gradually noticed weaker legs. Standing from the sofa became difficult. Gardening, something she loved, left her exhausted after just 20 minutes. After adjusting her meals to include more complete protein sources while maintaining plenty of fruits and vegetables, she began noticing improvements in strength and endurance over the following months. She told me, "I finally feel stable again." The lesson: not all proteins send the same muscle-building message. Choosing high-quality protein becomes increasingly important after 60. Mistake 3. Skipping breakfast or eating a carbohydrate-only breakfast. This may be the biggest mistake of all. Many older adults begin their day with cereal, toast, jam, pastries, or simply coffee. The problem isn't that these foods can never fit into your diet. The problem is what they're missing: protein. After an overnight fast, your muscles are especially ready to respond to nutrients. But if breakfast contains mostly refined carbohydrates, your muscles receive almost no building materials. Instead, blood sugar rises quickly, energy crashes, and muscle repair is delayed until much later in the day. One observational study following more than 2,500 adults over age 65 found that those who spread their protein intake more evenly breakfast, lunch, and dinner tended to maintain better muscle function than those consuming very little protein early in the day. My patient George, a 74-year-old retired mechanic, lived on buttered toast and coffee every morning for nearly 15 years. He believed breakfast simply wasn't important, but by afternoon he constantly felt tired. His balance worsened. His legs felt weak. When we redesigned his breakfast around high-quality protein, he noticed something surprising. His afternoon fatigue decreased, his daily walks became easier, and he felt stronger getting out of bed each morning. Sometimes the smallest changes create the biggest improvements. So let's quickly recap. The 3 biggest muscle-destroying mistakes are: eating too little protein overall, choosing protein sources that don't adequately stimulate aging muscles, starting the day without enough protein to activate muscle repair. If you've been making any of these mistakes, don't worry, you're certainly not alone. The encouraging news is that your muscles can still respond remarkably well when given the right nutrition. And now, it's finally time to reveal the one affordable food I recommend most often to older adults who want to preserve strength, support healthy aging, and give their muscles the building blocks they need. Trust me, this isn't an expensive supplement. It isn't a miracle powder, and chances are you can find it at your local grocery store. So, what is the one food I recommend most often? Eggs. Eggs are one of nature's richest sources of high-quality, complete protein. They provide all 9 essential amino acids, including leucine, the key amino acid that helps switch on muscle protein synthesis. They're also affordable, easy to prepare, and ideal for older adults. In one nutrition study involving older adults, participants who consistently consumed enough high-quality protein while staying physically active maintained better muscle strength and mobility than those with lower protein intake. One of my patients, Helen, a 70-year-old grandmother, began eating 2 eggs with breakfast most mornings, along with Greek yogurt or fruit and light resistance exercises. Within just a few weeks, she noticed getting out of bed felt easier, climbing stairs required less effort, and she had more energy throughout the day. Here's how to use this simple strategy. Aim to include 1 to 2 eggs as part of a balanced breakfast several days each week. Pair them with vegetables, whole grains, or other nutritious foods, and combine this habit with regular strength exercises such as chair squats, resistance bands, or light dumbbells. Together, nutrition and exercise create the strongest signal for preserving muscle as you age. Remember, no single food is a miracle cure, but when eggs become part of a healthy eating pattern, they can provide the protein your muscles need to stay stronger for longer. If you've learned something valuable today, take a moment to like this video and tell me in the comments. How old are you, and have you noticed any loss of strength in your legs or arms? I read as many comments as I can, and your story may encourage someone else. And if you're committed to staying strong, active, and independent after 60, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Every week, I share science-based nutrition and healthy aging tips designed to help you enjoy more years of strength and independence. Muscle loss is not something you have to accept as a normal part of aging. Small, consistent choices made today can make a tremendous difference tomorrow. Protect your muscles, stay active, eat enough quality protein, and remember that it's never too late to become stronger. I'm Dr. John Paul. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.